Hi, I'm STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, we are talking about bright light because this Sunday we are going to have a very potent new moon at 23 degrees of Scorpio. So if you've been looking on our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Justice and Survival, because that's what Scorpio rules. It's also a healing water sign, and it is a fixed financial sign. So it doesn't rule the money you make, but it can rule the money you manage, because Scorpios are good money managers, and it rules money coming in from any other source. So it rules credit, debt, taxes, loans, inheritance, insurance proceeds, or even grants, or maybe your lottery winnings, who knows. But it's generally money from a partner or money coming in from another source. And so this is a time now when something rather unusual is happening under this new moon, and it is that the sun and the new moon are in Scorpio at 23 degrees, but they are not the only two planets at that degree. In fact, there are 5 planets all at that degree. That's amazing. And remember, we reduce numbers by adding digits. 2 plus 3 equals 5. So on one side of the Scorpio new moon and sun, and Mercury is in the sign as well, is Venus. And Venus is in Libra, exactly at 23 degrees, beautifully sextiling the sun and new moon. And on the other side, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are in Capricorn, also sextiling the new moon. And 2 of those planets, Jupiter and Pluto, are also exactly at 23 degrees. And they are conjuncting Saturn, which is at 27 degrees. So this particular new moon has an awful lot of support, very direct support around it of good, strong planets, which is great. And so that's an indication that justice and survival are going to be on a lot of people's minds. And that is because there are actually 8 planets that are very compatible with each other. There are 4 planets in the water signs, all trining each other, which is nice for healing and forgiveness and sort of getting over things. And that's because the sun, new moon, and Mercury in Scorpio are also trining Neptune, which is retrograde in Pisces. Neptune is about to go direct soon, though, and that is when a lot of secrets will come out about things that have been hidden behind the scenes, and perhaps that is something that can lead to more justice and survival. At the same time, there are also a lot of planets in the Earth signs, another 4 planets, because Uranus in Taurus is trining that Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. So, because Earth and water are compatible, and this is involving 8 planets altogether, and in addition, there are 5 planets all at the same 23rd degree, which are strongly supporting this new moon, there is an indication, if we look a little closer, that we can see what else is going on, and we do see something a little bit alarming. It is that Venus at 23 degrees is actually squaring Jupiter and Pluto at 23 degrees exactly in Capricorn, but it's also squaring Saturn 27 degrees of Capricorn. When Venus and Saturn square or oppose each other, that is a sign of a betrayal. And so there is the possibility, since Capricorn rules time, and it rules large corporations and government agencies, that this is a time when there can be a betrayal at a very high level in a large corporation or a government agency, and that can be the reason why justice and survival have to be done. So we have to realize that there's change coming and that it involves some sort of betrayal. And we'll wait and see what's happening, but for right now, justice and survival is what it's all about. So it's important to know how Scorpio works. Scorpio is a fixed sign. There are 4 of them: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. All of the fixed signs are a little bit secretive at times, a little bit quiet, but Scorpio perhaps is the most like that, and that's because Scorpio rules the spy business, and it rules the military and the police, because Scorpio rules the administration of justice. And also, Scorpio, being a water sign, rules the field of medicine, but particularly surgery, because Scorpio has 2 rulers: Mars, which rules sharp instruments, and Pluto, which rules deep psychological transformation and change and the deep truth. And so Mars can rule war, hate, aggression, and greed. So that's not too good. And Pluto actually rules the deep grain of truth that is left with you when everything else in your life has sort of exploded, or when you've gone through a great deal of trauma, and yet you're left with the real truth. It means that if you've been going along in your life and you've sort of outgrown some things, then they really have no more meaning to you. And what you're left with is the real truth of who or what you are today, which is important to you. So there are 3 kinds of Scorpios, and that's because there are 3 levels of them and 3 symbols of a Scorpio. And I'm just going to describe all 3 right now, and that's because at the very lowest level of a Scorpio is the scorpion, a poisonous little bugger, really meant to kill you. And so I don't think there are too many Scorpios that are described with those traits, but there are some. And so these people would be people that like to cause pain for the pure pleasure that it gives them. I think that's a little sick, but there's a lot of people like that. And so these are people that keep hurting themselves in the same way. And behind it all, they are liking it. They're saying they're sorry, or they're saying they won't do it again, but they do. And that is because they get a little pleasure out of the pain they're causing. So hopefully you don't know any of these people, but if you do, I would run the other way if I were you. So as I said, there aren't very many Scorpios like that, but they are extremely dangerous, and you can't trust them. The next higher level of a Scorpio is the one that most Scorpios are, and it is the eagle. The eagle is the emblem of the United States, and the eagle flies high. And it too has the ability to attack sharply and accurately, but only in the defense of who or what they love. They are not doing it for the pain or the pleasure. They are doing it to defend the people or the things that they love. And so Scorpio also rules being very quiet. And Scorpios don't make friends very fast at all, because they like to look things over just the way that eagle does from on high. And generally a Scorpio knows an awful lot more about other people than they think, but they keep it to themselves. And if there is any particular problem, a Scorpio would rather sort of sit on it, because Scorpio rules patience and it rules loyalty. And that loyalty is more important to them even than money, even though it's a financial sign, because they have to know who they can trust. And think about the military. That's important when you're under attack. You've got to know who you can trust. So Scorpios are extremely quiet. They are loyal. And so if you want to be a friend of a Scorpio, you're going to have to hang around for a while because they don't make friends fast. And they're not in a hurry at all. And the reason why is if they finally decide they're going to be your friend, they already know it's for life. They're never going to leave you. They're never going to desert you. That's because they're loyal. So the next highest level of a Scorpio is the Phoenix. This is the person, there aren't too many of these, but they're wonderful people. This is the person, it's actually a mythical bird called the Phoenix that rises above its own ashes, meaning that when their life is completely destroyed, when their dreams have not gone the right way, when maybe they've lost their job or lost their love or endured tremendous disappointment, they still decide that they're going to rise above it. And so these are people that are really quiet. They're never going to tell you how bad it hurts. And that's because they can't afford to concentrate on what went wrong. They have got to rise above it. And so they aim very high, and no matter what it takes, they do make it. And they are to be admired for overcoming so many problems, rising from those ashes and flying higher. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is not all Scorpios are alike. And this is a time when we can't forget that above all, that sign means justice and survival. And those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at in the future under this new moon. Okay, what does it mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, going to have to be fast at this. I'm sorry the opening was so long. But Aries, I would say, since Mars is your ruler, and remember it also rules Scorpio where the new moon is on Sunday, and Mars is direct in your sign right now, Aries, even though it is still caught up in this horrible T-cross of 6 planets in cardinal signs, meaning that Venus in Libra is opposing that Mars in your sign, and the 3 planets in Capricorn are squaring the Mars in your sign. And there are no planets in the other fire signs, Aries. This is just going to be a wonderful time for you to quietly take stock of where you are right now and where you're going. Now, I can guarantee you're going to make a new beginning. And the reason why is that next month in December, there is a wonderful solar eclipse in Sagittarius trining your sun. But that's not all, Aries. There are 3, there's 2 new moons and a full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius next year in 2021, and they all trine your sun. So this is not the time to hold on to yesterday, Aries. This is a time to just take a little time off, enjoy the holidays, and decide you want to do something new, because that's what your sign rules, new beginnings. And I think you've been in a logjam for so long, you might even feel a little beaten up or misunderstood, but you won't win a legal entanglement, so don't get in one. You know, Venus is opposing that Mars. And so what you need to do is just think about walking out, closing the door, and thinking of what you'd like to do next, because I guarantee you're going to be making some new starts, and the opportunity for them could be coming up as early as next month. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Even though the new moon and the sun and Mercury in Scorpio are all opposing your sun sign, your sun sign is also being trined by the planets in Capricorn. I mean, it's doing pretty well. And so I would say, since water and earth are compatible, that some of your career plans or your year-end plans, in other words, you could be saying that you're sort of reviewing your investments or reviewing your financial strategies for next year, you know, those things could work out really well. I wouldn't bet the whole farm on anything right now, though, Taurus, because throughout the time that Uranus, that planet of sudden volatility and change, is in your sign, which will be for about the next 6 years, things could fluctuate. The value of things could fluctuate, and so could your bank account. And so that is why I'm saying, shrink your plans down a little bit for next year, because I think you've been successful this year. I think you can be successful next year. But you will encounter some problems. Next year is a hard year for fixed signs. And so I think that you'd better have a little reserve account that you don't tell anybody about, Taurus. And that's why I say don't spend your last dime right now. You tuck it away, because you're going to need it next year. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time when you too, just like Aries, should be sort of thinking about what are you going to do next year. And the reason why is that there's a wonderful solar eclipse in your sign at the end of May next year, Gemini, and you're definitely going to take off, or else you're going to split your interests and do more than one thing, which is something, your sign is a sign of the twins, you wouldn't mind that at all. And for right now, with Venus in Libra trining your sun, there can be a very favorable legal judgment coming your way, or a legal decision, or a very nice partner, or maybe a new contract, or even the suggestion of a treaty or a truce. And all of that would go very well right now for you, Gemini. So I hope that you sort of look on the bright side and look for people who are very nice peacemakers. That would be Venus and Libra trining your sun, because they will have a wonderful effect on your future. So, don't look for any trouble right now. Just look for those that can be charming and helpful to you, because they're around and they like you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer, yours is a cardinal sign, and that means you're still caught up in the antagonism that's being caused by these 6 planets in cardinal signs all squaring and opposing each other. It just means you can feel torn by pressure and tension that is around you. You're not even making it, Cancer, but you can be affected by it, particularly in your career. And that is because Capricorn rules your 10th house of career, and it rules your pension plans and rewards earned the hard way over a long period of time. And there are 3 planets in Capricorn that have consistently been opposing your sun. But now Venus in Libra is squaring your sun, and so is Mars in Aries. Just like Aries, you too need to think about moving on, or changing the way you do things, or looking for something newer or better or more exciting. So, I don't think it's all about the money, Cancer. It's about trying to make yourself a little happier, because I don't think that you're particularly happy right now. And since your sign rules manual labor, believe it or not, if you just looked around the house at something that needed fixing and decided to try to do that, you would find some satisfaction in solving problems like that, small problems. And maybe that could inspire you to think of new things to do as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Leo. This is a time when you absolutely cannot afford to spend a dime. Leo, don't do it. And that means, since your sign rules gambling, that this is not the right time to take a gamble on anything. And why? Because that Sun, New Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio, a fixed financial sign, are squaring your sign, and Scorpio rules taxes. You could get a little tax shock sometime in the new year, Leo. You might need a little extra money to pay that, and so that's why you shouldn't spend your last dime. But also Uranus in Taurus is squaring your sun as well. So there are planets in the fixed financial signs which are all harshly aspecting your sun sign. And that is why, Leo, you are vulnerable to unexpectedly high expenses, or to the devaluation of something. And it can be that you're not causing it. It's the conditions, sort of like the market conditions or the working conditions or somebody's budget or bottom line, that will affect you, because people are having to make adjustments at the year end. So try not to spend a lot of money right now, Leo. You are going to need it right after the first of the year. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. This is a time when, you're just the person that's in the right place at the right time, Virgo. You don't even have to change anything you've been doing, because that Sun and New Moon in Scorpio and Mercury, your own ruler, are in that sign, and they are sextiling your sun. Venus in Libra is right ahead of your sun sign and is also sextiling your sun. The 3 planets in Capricorn are trining your sun, and so is Uranus in Taurus. That's what I mean. You're just the person that's in the right place at the right time right now, Virgo. And so, don't be shy. You need to speak up, or you need to put your best foot forward and go out and mix and mingle, Virgo, because it's important. It's important for your career, and it's important for even your health, to be around others, or to set a good example, or to just try to do your best right now, which I think you always do. But other people can see that now, and you can be very inspiring to others, Virgo. And that's why I say, don't be shy. Virgos are modest. They are a little bit shy. But you should really speak up now. Perhaps you would be helping people. Even if they don't ask you for it, you would be helping them. And I think that you should give it a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. This is a time when you certainly still want to look your best and be your most charming, because Venus is in your sign. It's been there a while. And it is being opposed by that Mars in Aries, which means a new beginning has always been somewhat contentious. And it's not that you're causing the contention, but somebody else is. Maybe somebody wants to do everything their own way. Well, that's not a partnership attitude, is it, Libra? Or it can be that there are business issues or government policy issues that are running counter to what you would like, even the possibility of a betrayal at a high level, because Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn are squaring that Venus in your sign. So if there's a betrayal around, and you either know those people or that group, or you're involved with them in any way, I would urge you to get away from them, because nobody is going, the truth is going to come out as early as the end of the month. I mean, it's a different story after Thanksgiving, because Neptune will be direct, and the truth is going to come out. And if you do not want to be associated with people that might have been doing funny things behind the scenes, you need to cut those ties right now, Libra, because it could hurt you as well. So just discreetly withdraw if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Oh, Scorpio, congratulations. The new moon is in your sign. And so I think that, it couldn't be more beautifully supported. Remember, there are 5 planets in the 23rd degree, the sun and the moon in your sign. Venus is supporting it on one side at 23 degrees, and Jupiter and Pluto are supporting your sun sign on the other side, also at 23 degrees. 23 is a number that reduces to 5. Mercury is actually at the 5th degree in your sign today. But 5 is the number of Gemini. And it also is the number of the 5 fingers of the hands. And so there's always a lesson that every sun sign has to learn. And the lesson for a Gemini, or anybody associated with the number 5, is not to scatter your forces. And so that is just something that nobody can afford right now. And so these 5 planets, all at 23 degrees, including your sun and moon, simply are a message that you cannot afford to scatter your forces at all right now. I mean, you financially cannot afford it, so don't go on a spending spree. And also, you cannot afford to take your focus off of what is most important to you, and that may be something that demands justice and survival right now. This is a terribly important time for everybody to think only about their own justice and survival. And this is a time to think for yourself, because you have strong support around your sun sign. And that means if you need to go and talk to some people and get their advice, this is the time to do it, because you'll benefit from that. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, The new moon in Scorpio is right behind your sun sign, which means there's a lot of light in the background of your life, Sagittarius. And what would those people be looking at? Money, your money. And the reason why is that Scorpio is a financial sign. But remember, it rules taxes and loans and credit and debt. And so people could be sort of looking over your financial history right now, Sagittarius, and you wouldn't be able to hide anything. And so I hope that you're on the up and up as far as money goes right now. Mars in Aries is now direct, and it's trining your sun. If you're thinking that maybe you should be making a new start and sort of get out of wherever you are right now, you could be right about that, Sagittarius. And your timing is perfect because there is a solar eclipse in your sign next month. So this is the time for you to look at what financial resources you have and what you can do with that in light of a new beginning that really might be a little closer than you realize, Sagittarius. And I would just say you need to plan carefully for it because there is quite an emphasis in your sign in 2021. You really are going to make great strides in 2021. This is the time to think about what you can afford and what you can't afford, and justice and survival. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when if you're not directly involved in somebody's betrayal, in other words, it could happen in an organization that you're employed at. It could happen through the association of friends or people that you know. It could suddenly be coming out by the end of the month, and it could surprise you because you would say to yourself, oh, gee, I didn't know that they were doing such and such. But all of that could happen. However, for right now, 2 of the 3 planets in your sign are at the 23rd degree, and they're conjuncting that Saturn at 27 degrees. And so Venus is squaring them. And that simply means there is a betrayal somewhere around right now, Capricorn, in your life. And maybe you don't know about it quite yet, but it could be sort of on the back burner and coming up. And it can be that you don't even, in other words, it's nothing you've caused. But you could be affected by it in one way or another. I don't think you're going to be adversely affected by it. The planets in your sign are too strong, but they are leaving your sign next month. And that is why you need to plan ahead a little bit right now, Capricorn. Actually, you need to get much more businesslike about whatever you're doing or whatever you're wishing for, because wishing isn't going to make it come true. Just getting to work is going to make it come true. So that's what you need to do. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Venus in Libra is trining your sun, which is great. So that simply means that there can be somebody pretty nice headed your way, or there can be a favorable legal decision or some sort of truce or treaty suggestion that comes your way and that can affect your future very beneficially. So that's great. And so that's good for your career. But Aquarius, this is not a good time to spend money. If anyone is a fixed sign, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, they should not be spending a lot of money right now. And that is because there are planets in the 2 fixed financial signs, and those planets are opposing each other. Uranus is opposing the planets in Scorpio. Well, they're all squaring your sun sign, Aquarius. Uranus and Taurus is squaring your sun sign, meaning that the value of your investments can fluctuate. So you better be a little bit careful and think of the more steady ones to keep. And anything that is speculative, perhaps it's a good time to say goodbye to that. And then the sun, new moon, and Mercury in Scorpio, which do rule taxes and credit and loans and insurance and inheritance, all of those planets are squaring your sun as well, Aquarius. So I would say, believe it or not, no matter how much money you make, you need to get your financial act together, because somebody could come around and say, okay, we want to take a look at your records. Well, you should get them in good shape, because there is the possibility of you being involved in some financial dealings coming up, Aquarius, and you really need to know where all your money is and what you've got plan for it. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you certainly do benefit from the new moon in Scorpio. Cancer does too, because some money can be coming their way. But some money can be coming your way too, Pisces. And the reason why is that the Sun, New Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio are all trining your sun sign. And Scorpio rules other people's money. So this would be a great time to buy a lottery ticket, Pisces. It also is a very good time to be thinking of, if you do get more money, of what to do with it. And since this is the end of the year, I would put a little extra money away for increased taxes or increased expenses. It could be that you want to purchase something. Well, just keep saving for it, Pisces. The people that made it through this pandemic had savings. That's what the savings, they spent the savings on staying alive in the pandemic. And so it's very important to have savings going forward. So I hope that you take whatever good fortune comes your way financially and put it away somewhere, Pisces. You could need it, so just tuck it away. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.